Hi, I'm Rick the pilot teacher, and today's job we are replacing the electrical generator for this radio antenna. I've just flown the guys out 100 miles from our base with all of their gear and their spare parts. Now I've got to fly back to base, pick up their generator and sling it in so they can swap it out. Got a window, so if we look underneath, we've got a window in the belly of the aircraft, and what this is for is when I'm doing an external load. So basically when I'm lifting up something on the hook, I can see down to the load, so I can see where it's going to go when I pick it up and I drop it off. It's unique to the A-Stars just because we have such a wide area between the edge of the seat and the edge of the fuselage. Some helicopters you can actually stick your head out or take the door off and you can see vertically straight down the outside. A-Stars we can't, we have to look through the slinging window, and it takes some practice because you can't see very much. You have a lot of blind spots around here and around here. When the door's closed, this bit has a blind spot here, you have the door post here which creates a blind spot, so it's a challenge and it takes some practice to get used to. But the other thing we've got in there is the screen there, so let's go and show you what the screen does. So now you have the view that I get when I am slinging. Basically I'm looking down from my seat, and that screen at the moment is showing me my torque gauge, and it's pretty cool. It's just a little camera up here, so there you go, you can see my fingers, and it's just replicating the screen right here. What I can also do is switch the camera to my NG gauge, and as we can now see, I've now got my NG gauge replicated. You can see my fat fingers there. So it allows me to see the power when I'm pulling, so I can keep my head looking straight down the hole rather than bringing my head up and looking at the instrument panel. So it's really cool. It really helps a lot. So here's the generator that I slung in. I thought I'd best come and show it to you. It's like it's an old, just a diesel generator or diesel engine that's got a, let's see, an electrical generator on the front, and it has this cradle that's sitting on the top that I just connected my 4-point sling to, and then up to my long line. And yeah, this is what was keeping me company for an hour's flight back this afternoon. So yeah, this was the generator, and actually, wow, I actually put it pretty straight on the trailer. Wow, outdid myself there. Well, it's day 2 of the job. I'm going to be sitting here for about 10 hours whilst the guys finish the installation. So covers are on, blade ties are on. Now time to go sit and edit some videos and write some blog posts. So when you become a pilot, you've got to have things to do when you're sitting in the middle of nowhere all day, because without cell phone service and no Wi-Fi, you've got to keep your mind occupied, otherwise 10 hours will drive you nuts. So if you're thinking of becoming a pilot, always make sure you've got a project that you can do, something to read offline, and then you'll never go insane. So this is my spot for lunch today. Pretty nice view up here on the top of the hill where the radio antenna is. So my work is done now. I've brought the guys in, slung in all their gear. So now it's time to enjoy the view with my sandwich. So the clouds have now rolled in, and you can kind of see out the window we are in the cloud. Hence the reason why I've got my woolly hat on, or toque as we call them here in Canada. They got me thinking. On the radio tower itself, you got the actual radio transmitters and receivers, the round things there, and there is a platform above it. So I'm sitting there thinking to myself, why would there be a platform above it? It's kind of, if it's going to be a working platform, it'd be below it. So I've been racking my brain trying to figure out what it is, and the only thing I can think of is to protect the antenna from falling snow and ice. So if any of you guys watching this work in the telecommunications industry and know exactly what that platform is there for, jump into the comments, let me know. Be good to find out. I think it's for protection, but I could be way off. Let me know. So I've got a great little quick tip for especially some of you new pilots to helicopters, junior pilots, and that is whenever you're sitting out in the bush, in the field, and you've got your blade tie downs on or your engine cover, always take your pitot cover or your AOG sock and put it over your throttle, or over your cyclic if you have a throttle like a Jet Ranger and you can't put it on. For me, in the A-Star, the air intake is mounted on the top of the aircraft flat, and it doesn't like sitting when it's raining because the rain collects in the air intake funnel and then can fire water into the engine when you get started. So whenever I land and it looks like rain, I always put that cover straight on. That way then, once I put my pitot cover onto the throttle, I can never ever start my engine with the engine intake cover on, because if you do that, your engineer is going to have a really bad day. So it's a really cool tip that I got shown when I was a junior pilot, and you will never ever start your engine with that cover on if you've got that sock or cover onto your throttle or your collective. It's really simple to do. You should always walk around your aircraft before you get in it, even if you're on start number 22 of the day. Walk around, make sure your covers are closed, latches are latched, there's no stones or rocks on your bear paws that can fly back into your tail rotor, or your covers are off, your blade tie downs are off. Every single flight needs to make sure that the aircraft is secure before you go flying. And by having the pitot cover as I use on the throttle, I will never ever start my aircraft with the engine cover on. So cool little tip. I've just put my covers on because it's possibly going to rain today and it's windy up here on the top of the hill. So machine's all tied down, so I can now sit inside the aircraft and read my book, write some blog posts, edit some videos, and I don't have to worry about the blades being rocked by the wind or rain going down the engine intake. So quick little tip, hope you found it useful. Well, one good thing about working in a remote location and for a remote community is that when we get to clean up all the scrap, which we've got right here, it's easy to fly it into the scrapyard because it's not surrounded by anything. So I'm just getting it loaded up now. I'm going to sling it into the scrapyard, drop it off, land, unload it, come back, clean up and complete. Well, now I kind of know how Les Stroud feels on his Survivor Man shows, because the load's in the dump, but now I've got to go get my net. I'll be right back. So I hope you found this video interesting. It's just another video that I've done in the A Day in the Life of series of a helicopter pilot. I make these videos all the time, just each time I go out on a job and I'm able to get my camera out and film what's going on. It just gives a good insight to what we do on a general day-to-day basis. Each job is different, each day is different. Some of the stuff that we do is really interesting, and yeah, I just like to document it for you guys so you can see what we get up to, and if you're interested in becoming a helicopter pilot, the kind of things that you can get up to. So I hope you liked it. If you did, go check out the other videos in this Day in the Life series, and also go check out the blogs that I have on pilotteacher.com. I've got all kinds of stuff on there, some that's educational, some that's just interesting. Hope you find all my stuff useful and entertaining and educational, and if you do, cool, glad you like it. I'll see you on the next one.